Welcome to The Rock. Today we will visit Monaco, but before that we will make a short stop in La Turbie. Overlooking the Principality of Monaco at more than 1000 meters altitude, the village is like a balcony hanging over Monte Carlo. The town is dominated by its gigantic trophy of Augustus, which is 35 meters high. Built 2000 years ago by the Romans, to the glory of Emperor Augustus, the conqueror of the last Ligurian tribes, it was used as a fortress in the 12th century. It was dismantled by Louis XIV in May 1705 and was then transformed into a stone quarry. It was then restored by the generous American donor called Edward Tuck. Originally it stood 49 meters high and was topped by a giant statue of the emperor. Located close to the medieval wall, this magnificent 18th century church has been classified as a historical monument since 1938. The village of La Turbie has preserved its charm and has remained intact, mixing medieval, classical and baroque styles. The historical wonders are numerous. Fountains dating from the Roman era, vaulted passages, flowered streets. We can say that it's nice to wandering in these streets full of charm. We now leave the village to go to Monaco, but before that a refreshing break in the brasserie with a view of the Principality. Here we are in Monaco. We walk a few meters and discover the typical streets of the city, mixing classicism, baroque and modernity. We head towards the famous Casino de Monte Carlo, crossing the gardens of the company Les Bains de Mer. The broad lines of the French garden are combined with the undulations, waterfalls, streams and ponds of landscape style with an exotic note of soul. The casino is one of the most famous casinos in the world and was built in 1993. The place of the casino has been completely redeveloped and reveals an open space entirely designed for the pleasure of visitors. An elegant esplanade of beige flagstones offers a clear view to the magnificent historic buildings such as the iconic Hôtel de Paris, the Café de Paris and the casino. Monaco is also accommodating luxury shops and of course cars. A must-see ornament in the heart of the esplanade, the Anish Kapoor's mirror. The casino welcomes you in an atrium made of marble and composed of 28 columns. We leave the casino to continue our walk in the avenue François Blanc. At the back of the building, we find the Buddha Bar and we see the Nikki Beach Fairmont of Monaco. We have a walk to the park next to and admire the view of the Opera building. Towards the roundabout of the Portier, we discover the sculpture of Christian Mas, a F1 McLaren. We now arrive in the Japanese garden. At the request of Prince Rainier III, this garden was created in 1994 in accordance with the strictest principles of the concept of Zen. It offers an exotic journey to the land of the rising sun within the Principality itself. This garden is a rich blend of Japanese tradition and Mediterranean elements, the result of a close collaboration between the gardeners of Monaco and those of Japan. we discover all the elements of a Japanese garden, such as ponds, islands, waterfalls, lanterns, bridges, tea house, and Zen garden. The bamboo hedges, tile, stone, lanterns, and wood used for the buildings were imported from Japan, while the plants, all of Mediterranean type, were pruned and worked for 3 years to give them a Japanese effect. A pond located next to the pavilion allows you to admire a collection of koi carp which swim peacefully in the middle of the water, lilies and lotus. Every year, a Japanese master comes specially from Japan to give advice to the gardeners concerning the maintenance of the plants. We now arrive at the new National Museum of Monaco, the Villa Saubert, where we will discover an exhibition of the photographer Helmut Newton. The Hercules port of Monaco is a natural bay located at the foot of the ancestral rock of the princes of Monaco. It's certainly one of the most luxurious in Europe. Monaco's history predates the Roman occupation of 12 BC, and its natural harbor guaranteed a steady stream of visitors from Byblos, Tyre and Sidon. Later, the Phoenicians came to trade silk, oil and spices. They are the ones who introduced in this part of the Mediterranean their godmail cart, known later by the Romans under the name of Hercules, Monoikos. It was after this god that the Romans renamed the city, which then evolved into its current name. After the tour of the harbor, we climb a few steps to the Oceanographic Museum. We can see the beach solarium, and the view over the bay is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking ahead, looking out for someone like you. Maybe someday when I've grown older, I can see it all clear from above, looking back on it all. Maybe I can see what was broken.
There is a life-size photo frame where you can take pictures with a view of the harbors and the mountains in the background.
Yeah, it's a long
Some sculptures decorate the path. Built on the side of the rock, the Oceanographic Museum was created by Prince Albert I. Sailor and precursor of oceanography, he was attracted by travel and science from an early age. He directed 28 scientific campaigns, dedicating a large part of his life to the study of the oceans. On more than 6,500 square meters, open to the public, the museum presents today more than 6,000 specimens. The first public garden to be opened in the Principality in 1916, the Saint-Martin Garden, was built on an abandoned plot of land in order to provide work for the inhabitants at a time when famine was striking the Principality. On a promontory facing the Mediterranean, visitors can discover a bronze statue of Prince Albert I, the Navigator Prince. This garden offers walkers as many surprises as exceptional views of the Big Blue.
looking back on it all. Maybe I can see what
Its winding and steep alleys follow the rock face and offer many resting places to walkers. In the center of the garden, visitors can also enjoy a refreshing break around the pond. Exceptional plants and sculptures are associated in harmony in this particular site to combine art and botany. We continue our journey towards the Princely Palace, which is the official residence of the Prince of Monaco since 1297. The Grimaldis governed the Principality as feudal lords and since the 17th century as sovereign princes. Built in 1191, originally as a fortress of the Republic of Genoa, this building has been bombed and sieged by many foreign forces throughout its history. Since the end of the 13th century, it has been the residence of the Grimaldi family who conquered the place in 1297. Below the palace is the district of Fontvieille and its ports, created in 1973. The birth of a new district of Monaco was linked to the economic development of the principality. During the development of these new lands, 17 hectares reclaimed from the sea, a part was dedicated to the creation of a marina. Near the port, there is also a shopping mall, supermarkets, the heliport of Monaco and the sports complex of Louis II Stadium. Located at the foot of the Rock of Monaco, in its eastern part, the port of Fontvieille is certainly one of the best sheltered in the region. It is no time for us to eat. We take our way back to the Hercule ports for a cocktail and dinner. End of the meal, end of the day. The night begins to fall, and we decide to make a last walk towards the place of the casino to admire the illuminated buildings. Monaco offers us a lot to see. It's not surprising that Hollywood is interested in the Monegasque environment to shoot films, such as To Catch a Thief from Alfred Hitchcock, filmed in 1955. One of the most famous is none other than one of the James Bond saga movie, GoldenEye, with Pierce Brosnan. Released in 1995, the film is set in the famous Casino de Monte Carlo, Port Hercule and Fort Saint-Antoine. There are also other films like Ocean 12 or Iron Man 2 with the famous scene of the Formula One Grand Prix.